Shalom and welcome to today's edition of Rabbi Ron in the House. Digging in here, Tree of Life Bible. We're looking this past week, we've been looking throughout the week, Romans chapter 11. An important verse to share with you tells us here, salvation has come to the Gentiles to what? To provoke the Jews to jealousy. So those of you that are not Jewish, that you're from all the other nations, God saved you because He loves you. He desires that none would perish, but all would come to Him and have everlasting life. But also He says, now that you've received this, there is a calling on your life. You are called to provoke Jews to jealousy. My question is, can you provoke them? Have you provoked them? Now listen, a lot of people are good at provoking people, but we need to provoke people to jealousy, to make them envious of our faith in Messiah, to provoke them so that they'll want what we have. They'll be jealous and say, no, you have what belongs to me. You have what I need. And so this is what has to happen. And you see, most of the time, Jewish people, non-believing Jews that don't believe Yeshua is Messiah, and other people that don't believe Yeshua is Messiah, you talk to them and what happens? It goes in one ear and boom, right out the other ear. Doesn't get a response, nothing. They're not interested in spiritual stuff, and so somehow they can just block it out. They can ignore it. It'll go in that ear, right out the other, and that's it. Never touches anything in between, never gets them to think or anything. I looked up the word provoke, and what did it say in the dictionary? To be the cause or occasion of an emotion or response. That means when we share with Jewish people and other people, we can't let it be that it just goes in one ear and out the other, that they can blow it off, not even give it a thought, think about it at all. But somehow the way that we share with Jewish people, and it'll work with others as well, that it then causes them to have an emotion or response. They can't just be apathetic and ignore it, that somehow it touches something and it strikes a nerve in a good way, and it hits a nerve and causes them to say, it makes them respond, or it stirs up our emotion. So we need to share our faith in such a way that it stirs up emotion and it causes them to respond. They can't just blow it off and ignore it. The other thing it said about provoke in the dictionary, to bring something about intentionally. It's not just going to happen by chance. We're not that good that it's just going to happen just because we love God. We have to intention, we have to purpose and plan it out. How am I going to do something? How am I going to share with this person? What am I going to do that on purpose so that it will bring about a response and get an emotion out of them? And so listen, was just talking about this last weekend with several friends. How do we provoke Jews, or anyone for that matter, to jealousy? How do we get them to have an emotion and to think about things? And so I'd like to ask you for help. People ask me this all the time, Ron, how can I provoke Jews to jealousy? So I'm looking to compile a list to make a handout to give to people. I'd like your help. I want to add more things to the list. So would you do me a favor? Give it some thought. Get in the comments section and write down and say, hey, Rabbi Ron, this is what I've done that has successfully provoked them to jealousy and has caused them to respond and to have an emotion that's touched their heart. Share with me things that you've done, one or two, so that I can add them to my list, to my handout, so that I'll be able to start giving this out to people when I teach. And so remember this. This is your calling, to provoke them to jealousy, to get an emotion, to strike an emotion, and to get a response out of them when you share. And so you have to do this intentionally, on purpose. May this help bring greater fruit to your service to our King Yeshua. Thanks so much for joining me. I look forward to hearing your comments today. This has been Rabbi Ron in the House.